They would kind of rely on holding on to B main, see if there's robo control from the opponents, and then slowly start to retake control past the 1 minute mark. But at that point, you're starting to run out of time and options. So I'd love for them to, maybe take some contact plays as well, sprinkle that in a couple rounds to see if they can take advantage of the tempo that you have on a 3-site map as the attacking team.
All right, I see what you mean. You definitely want to see them, especially a team with such strong, duelists and fraggers, to go in for some of these duels. And if they can actually soften up some of the defenses, they might be able to do a bit more. But for now, we're starting things off slow.
I mean, it is the pistol, but I like this from RQ as well. Not investing anything to take rebel control, right? They understand that GE, they're not going to all in too early onto that rebel fight. So they'll just hold. You have that forward alarm bot. That always gets so much value no matter which team's playing it. So GE, these are the rounds where push in, tag that bot. All right, that's already value you've gained right before the 1 minute mark.
Wow.
Still a little bit slow at the beginning, but it's value gained.
Alt Orb gathered as well, but just as soon as it comes out, you've got the dark cover just to block off a little bit. And I love how Xfer is trying to play around this. Oh, but unfortunately not quite landing the shot. This gives Global Esports a lot more space into the C site.
It's a nice try. Xfer had a good read that there might be just a cut of audio. Paint shells to try to delay. Should be able to still finish it. Oh, the C's a little bit late.
Oh, he's gone.
Good to get the kill.
And he gets eaten. He eats a paint shells as well. So Polvi fights right back, and now RQ gonna have to retake this without any advantages. They've been smoked off as well, so just waiting for it to dissipate. Maybe 2G can toss in a paranoia. But the positioning from Global Esports seem a little bit too strong right now. The snake bite will get tossed down just to kind of weaken them a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. 2G tries to rush right in, gets a little bit of a right click, but it's not still enough. 3 targets left, and Flips is down at 10 HP. He swings, but Polvi just tags him down. A quad for this guy in the pistol round, and very close to a showstopper.
Yeah, it might not be the flashiest round, but I think if you're a GE fan, that's a round that makes you feel good about the team already. We don't want to write things off too early, obviously just 1 round, but sure, a bit slow, but they're still able to push in, try to clear out the alarm bot early. Then they decide to cut audio instead of having to use all their util to get in. And then they position the post plant to make sure that they have a crossfire at all times no matter where the paranoia comes through. Blaze King always had vision, and once the paranoia clears, Polvi is able to get a 4 kill. I mean, this is everything you wanted from this team for that pistol round, and Polvi's already getting hyped up.
That's exactly what you want from Global Esports. RQ not backing down without a fight, though. This is their pistol now, and they are looking to get whatever they can retrieve. So both Alt Orbs on A and C, they've been moving out front.
Yeah, going for the Viper's Pit over the lockdown. Bit interesting. Obviously, Flips already had an extra point as well, but being on defense, can't fault him too much. Prowler to check as well. You already saw that there were 2 members. GE, they're reading things very well. I mean, we'll have to keep tabs, but maybe that extra comms coming in might be able to clear things up for GE today.
Taking a lot of tactical fights as well. I mean, whether or not it's just Russ going in with this separate C-site squad, he's calling out for that paranoia. They're going in for these kills, and they're making sure that they're going to keep every single weapon as they go into the next round. That's what you want to see from them.
Yeah, 40 seconds. You still have so much time, and during all of that, Blaze King creeps through. He realizes no setup on A, no reactions either. Now, he is going pretty deep, but he's got the Spectre. He's not in a bad position because you're still able to isolate fights 1v1, and now they have to clear him, right? I mean, if they clear him, sure, you get a weapon, but they have to wait and try to fight this out. He's able to reset the aim as well. An excellent round played out on the anti-eco by Global Esports.
Okay, Elmingmore tries with the classic, but unfortunately it's going to be Benkai with the ghost that takes him out instead. And it's just a little bit of fun, The best thing is that Global Esports does make it a flawless round. But for Blaze King, the fact that these are some of his Indonesian brethren on the other side, it's a little bit of a friendly match as well.
Just imagine the storyline if the only teams RQ loses to are teams with Indonesians on their squad. I mean, listen, we might be onto something here, okay? T1 might have been onto something when they brought out the obscured IGL last week. Might have cracked the code.
That's the trick. Maybe Fleet's gonna have to pick up an Indonesian player next. But for now, dark cover is a lot of rubble control. Global Esports gonna have to respect this.
Yeah, this is now with the weaponry, with the defaults coming in, Global Esports. Usually when this happens, they just wait, they wait to see, and then they have to go for a util dump onto C. That's what their tendencies have been. But do they go, especially since it's a bonus round, for a bit more contact play on C?
So far, they've been given a lot of room around this spot, so why not? If anything, I'm wondering how come RQ isn't really making any moves around the rotating door. Instead, this time just double stacking it up on C, a 2-1-2 default setup. Pillars getting checked, but nothing found.
Yeah, and since you see no re-aggression onto Rubble, you're going to switch over Jemkin towards a Link. And this map kind of favors RQ even with 2G slotting in, because generally the Omen can solo hold on Rubble for a long time, right? So it's not too important to have been scrimming a lot with the team. You're still able to go through the motions quite well.
That's taking a little bit of time, though, so he's going to back up. Instead, now holding her up around tree. Tosses out a bit of a dark cover just to block off any potential access routes from Global Esports. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad actually starts to push in through C. Flips takes the first point of contact. Polvi with a showstopper now, but nobody's on site, so it doesn't quite connect, and Xfero's looking for more targets to hit. There's 10 seconds left on the timer now, and Lightning Fast has the plant around the stairs, but Jemkin with the wall bang manages to take him down in time. All of a sudden, it's a little bit more tricky for Russ and Polvi to stick the spike.
Doesn't have
Polvi
time.
tries, but no, it's just too hot. The landing zone, he's going to have to back off.
Yeah, Omi Moore with the jump peak forces him to stop the plant right there. Eventually cleans up the kills as well. So what started off a little messy, I mean, Global Esports even go for the revolving door on A. I like what I saw. It's a good evolution out of the more simplistic tendencies they had in previous matches. But RQ's ready with it, with the weaponry. But of course, they will have to buy up a couple. So, you know, this is one of those classic round fours where you really want to win this from both sides to make sure you can build up the creds.
A little bit more so for Global Esports.
There.
But, I mean, the way that works out is the fact that it's a wall bang, something that you don't quite expect that often. You know it's coming, but you don't really expect it to hit. This time, though, just all out in towards A Rubble. You've got the entire squad of Global Esports, and Polvi finds the first pick. Elmimore continues to stay tucked away behind a lot of these smokes, and he might just be able to catch a sneaky one up against Global Esports as soon as this smoke dissipates. They're marking him, though. Blaze King, very aware.
They know. They know, man. Xfera and Elmimore, they both love to play that spot. And they always peek out right as the smoke drops, whether it's a toxic screen, whether it's a dark cover. GE has come prepared, and that's always been true in all of their matches. As 2GE, last alive, just tries to do whatever damage, but GE has always had good ideas. The first 30 seconds of every round they've played has always looked pretty decent so far in stage one. It's just the execution wasn't ever quite there. They could not ever quite put the exclamation mark at the end. But today, things are starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, they've gotten the spike down now. They're marking all the exits. You even have Russ looking for the final player, and that's going to be 2GE down in the dirt. Flawless round for Global Esports now, and it's going to be a little bit trickier for RQ to come back from it.
Yeah, I imagine if you go down on the Rubble fight again, we might see a timeout, because what GE does here, so Polvi doesn't go on to the left side, he doesn't go past Rubble, he actually dives right through the middle. Why? Because RQ has always only sent Jemkin in. They always hide behind the toxic screen for the haunt. Jemkin's job is to clear it. So you know that you're in a 1v1 where he has to turn around for the haunt. It's very well played despite the C's catching Polvi off guard.
It's just a little bit too chaotic to find your picks, but still now. Wall of smokes, Global Esports goes for the same game plan. Not a lot of contact, so they actually get a lot more space to push up front. Elmimore only has a Sheriff, so they are very aware they're going up against a slightly weaker buy.
And during all of this, you're still seeing if there's a push out from C-Mound from Benkai, right? So while I would love to see if Benkai maybe at least goes for a little bit of a jump peak contact, something like that, that could give them a bit more time. But what you're really waiting to see is, now that we've got contact on A, is there a bigger force on C? They only quite checked one, maybe two players, depending on the gun sounds, over on the A side. So G's not quite sure, is this a stack or not? They're waiting for a reaction.
Let's see what they can fish up. RQ's not quite biting the bait, though, Will.
Yeah, but
so
Ben, yeah, he's on the move. Now, all of the Killjoy setup on C is very deep into the site, so Benkai's not going to find as much value as he would have liked, but what he is telling his teammates is, okay, it's not a forward setup, still nothing at the entrance, so he might think that this site is relatively clear. This could be a rude awakening. There you go, but Blaze King with an important kill on the A side.
There it is. Good kill, but at the same time, the Nightfall. Now it's just a bit of a fake as they head on over to the B site. It's completely open except for Heaven, but they have those exits marked as well. 2G goes down to a bit of a trade. Now Jemkin wants to push up front to deny the spike plant, but he's being blocked off by lightning fast. Look at the cover from Global Esports. They are doing such a good job with the cover and fire movements. Polvi on the off angle now. Xfero comes in to check. Ooh, that's the head gone.
Oh,
Flip
man.
for the Stinger actually does a bit of damage. Benkai, though, has the angle from the back, and it's going to be Blaze King on the side of Baby Door to clear out the rest of the team. Global Esports, not too shabby at all.
You know, this always gets a lot of teams when it comes to that B site. When you see the clock ticking down, you think you have a better shot of denying that plant. But the fact of the matter is B site is primed for retakes, right? Even if they take over A link, you can still create so much pressure. Sure, it's a 3v4, but you have to wonder, if Jemkin hadn't taken that early damage, wouldn't this have gone a little differently? Maybe it would have gone down to a 1v1. But I do want to give props to Global Esports on making sure that they still had Crossfire set up. The post plants look a lot cleaner, and they seem to be a lot more aware of their options, right? You go for Blaze King getting contact after Benkai starts pushing into the C site because you see no Killjoy util. That tells me that Global Esports kept in mind that, okay, there still might be something on C, right? Just because the Killjoy util isn't outside of the entrance doesn't mean that it's entirely empty. They're not making any assumptions yet, and this is a much-needed timeout from RRQ.
Definitely. I mean, this is like great, steep improvements for Global Esports compared to the previous weeks. The fact that this is RRQ's map pick says a lot. Because RRQ, they played pretty darn well against Bleed on this one, but then now it's struggling against T1, back into it. They haven't quite made a lot of adjustments, especially against a team like Global Esports, where maybe they don't have that much experience with. I mean, this new squad now, this new roster, you got Russ making the calls, and his Nightfall from that previous round into the C side, I think, was one of the things that really confused RRQ.
Yeah, I mean, the kill on A plus a Nightfall on C, that creates pressure, but then they even tag too, so they say, let's go B. That's the weaker spot right now. Overall, really good calls. I mean, Russ has absolutely been impressing me. I mean, sure, he has a decent reputation, but he's one of those players where I didn't expect much, right? Plus or minus is kind of a non-factor for me when the roster was announced, but I stand corrected. I mean, he's been fragging, he's been calling, he's been getting the reads, and now if that's new structure that they're working on with Benkai, be even more assistance, could be a huge change.
Really could, but you know what's even better? It's going to be Elmi Moore with the Sheriff. Pops out, takes the shot against Russ. Just a little bit of a trade from Polvi, and Global Esports have to regroup.
Okay, Benkai being spotted, that alone already draws a lot of the attention away from A. I mean, this is big news for the rest of Global Esports. They could come to B, they could go to A. I mean, these jump peaks, it's getting nerd. Oh my gosh, the Baby Door being broken at the same time. I mean, this is just a different looking Global Esports. The timings are so much better.
Just everyone making moves all across the board. RRQ, they're very lost and confused. We saw it. Jemkin turned around because he heard the door. He thought that it was clear to move back. And Ben is just that sneaky. 2GE now, trying to take what he can get. We do have Flips, who retrieved a bit of a weapon. But might be opting to save that instead.
Yeah,
at least to wrap around the back for exits.
Yeah, go for an exit or two, but if not, take away a free Vandal. That's the most you can hope for RRQ. It's looking rough, because here's the thing, RRQ, their default hasn't changed too much. Granted, defensive defaults, they are fairly standard. Polvi's even ready for this! I mean, Global Esports is way more tuned in today, and they looked pretty good against Talon at the beginning as well. Let's not forget that, right? Let's not write it off. That was a match a lot of people felt Global Esports should have won. So whatever they're doing, whatever that mental coaching is doing for this team, it is working out.
I mean, it's everything. The mental coaching, the fact that the team has stuck together through thick and thin. And I believe, Will, that you don't really win a fight without being tested. And this team has been tested. They are going through it.
I mean, Gen G last year got tested and then they fell apart. So listen,
that's why they didn't win last year.
Yes, there's a little bit of a different limit testing going on.
That's what I'm talking about. Global Esports looking so much better in this opening map for today. Yeah, Polvi with the showstopper now, wanting to clear out so much space around the C site. RQ are afraid. They have no choice but to turn back.
Yeah, Xfero spots him coming deep as well, so you have to know that he's here. He's actually in a spot too, so you have to be ready for it, and Jemkin gets picked out!
Just focus on the aim, says Coach Spin, and he does exactly that. Elmi Moore, though, will be able to push up front from Waterfall, unless not quite marked. Russ will be able to come back in to find that a little bit of a trade. Xfero still marking the angles with an operator. The Killjoy. Who's up front now? Benkai watching out from Waterfall. Just eliminating a couple more angles, and it's a little bit more doable for RRQ in this moment, but Flip's not quite being able to land the shot. Xfero swapped over onto the Vandal. Will be able to play off of his teammate's death, and that's going to be the defuse. Second win for RRQ.
I mean, Flips being wary of that flank from Benkai was everything, because otherwise that was a 3v2. The pinch was coming in, and it was going to be a tough timing for RRQ. So props to them, but lightning fast, sure, it's not as explosive as a map so far than maybe some of his previous games, but what a shot to pick off the showstopper. Really helped delay this retake and force it all the way down to the wire. Meanwhile, I mean, RRQ, this was an important round to get that confidence back going, right? Know that you can fight these 2v3s. Know that you also can have the good crossfires, the good double peaks.
And that was off of the timeout as well. So looking a little bit better now. We need more rounds just like that one. They have 3 ultimates to work with, a lot of tools at their disposal. Xfero with the operator, like we mentioned. But what is this? A shot through the toxic screen from Russ. Unfortunate for Jemkin.
I mean, it's so clear that Global Esports has studied a lot of the tape from RRQ, the tendencies to actually hide behind the enemy toxic screens, things like that. Make sure there's always a crossfire, but this paranoia is good. Sets up Elmi Moore.
And Flip's coming in to help out as well, but look at the re-peaks from Global Esports. B&B, Benkai, and Blaze King come in to eliminate no threats. It's going to be down to Xfero, but even the operator gets removed from his arms.
Listen, I don't even know about this season of Pacific anymore, man. Like, everyone's been saying, Global Esports, where's the firepower, where's the firepower? I've echoed that same sentiment. The reads are good, the execution isn't there. Well, apparently the firepower is there. They just needed a bit more mental coaching. I mean, I don't know. But quite frankly, if you're RQ, did you expect to lose this crossfire with Elmi Moore bouncing off of Flips' aggro like that? No, normally they win that. But GE's just ready for it this time. They have much more focus. It's not about the flicks. It's not about any like crazy reflexes. It's just about having a better understanding of your opponent's tendencies.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, sometimes it's not really just about pure mechanical skill, but being mentally ready and prepared for it. Xfero now starting to focus in. Picks off one with the Sheriff and then falls back.
Oh, but G reads this, right? Since the previous round, they had that op on Xfero. That's when the really heavy 1-4 starts to come out for RQ. Now, with Xfero solo pushing out a mound, they recognize, okay, that's the weak site. We can pressure that for now. You do this way before the 1-minute mark. You still have more than half of the round to work with.
Still, though, gonna have to be careful because you never quite know what RQ is capable of. They are working around a lot of these smokes still. Nightfall being sent out by Russ. Lightning Fast forced to run back because of a little bit of fire from some of these frenzies. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad of Global Esports have made a lot of headroom into A site. Look at Lightning Fast.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is the spike. Yeah, the spike isn't quite there just yet, and Xfero, gun's not out. Would have been a close one either case.
They don't really know that he's there. That could be a bit of a problem, Will.
Yeah, especially with the rifle picked up. And, I mean, you've got some other ultimates as well. RQ just has to hold on to time. The paint shells come in as well.
Oh, all right. Lightning Fast.
Above the pit.
Manages to evade it. The pit comes up, gives them a little bit more space to sneak around. Flip's able to pick up just the one. Still not quite enough.
Do you have the internal timing for the
flank?
Lockdown
now. Unfortunately, though, Polvi able to swing back. This is now Global Esports very aware of every movement from RRQ, even though Flips has the Viper's Pit and he's trying to sneak around you. Picks up the Vandal, but unfortunately it's a bit of a crossfire and 2 players staring right down your barrel.
I love that they're aware of this. And one of the things that might have given it away is the timing of the pit. The pit comes out, but where's the lockdown? If you're going to invest that much on an eco, surely the lockdown's coming from somewhere. So at that point, you don't see the Killjoy anywhere. You see people starting to flood in. You're thinking something's not right. As soon as you hear the lockdown, Polvi turns around. He's ready for the shot. GE is just focused in, and maybe that's all they were missing this entire time.
Excellent point, Will. I mean, just the awareness from not just Polvi, I guess. I mean, he might have been the one to turn around, but I have to imagine there are a lot of communications going on throughout the entire team. They can keep this up, make this map a quick one. It's going to be very troublesome for RQ into the next. Lightning Fast starts things out, holding the angle around pillars.
See, now that you've done a couple higher tempo rounds, now going for that slow
Now you
default.
switch things
Yeah,
up.
see if the push comes out. Why? Because Rubble hasn't worked out for RQ. Mountain hasn't worked out for RQ. So there's a good chance. And even if they don't come out, you know, you only spend 20 seconds, you're still able to work the rest of the round. So Global Esports, the attacking looks a lot more convincing. Obviously still a long way to go here on Lotus. Holy.
So even though Pillar might not quite have worked out at the start of the round, Xvero still sharp as ever, posted up front with the operator. Falls back now just to relay. The rest of Global Esports knowing that they probably don't want to head back into the A site, right, Will?
Yeah, I mean, usually that op is solo, but now with this timing, you're expecting there's at least going to be some backup coming forward. So I like digging into the B site. That's usually going to be the weakest. You'll worry about the post plan afterwards. You're going to push them out with the lockdown. Now, how far deeper do they go? And is there alert from Lightning Fast?
Might just stick around, play around Baby Door. Let that lockdown cook a little. Check with the Prowler. Spike gets down. RRQ wants to retake, but they're only taking it from Waterfall and Heaven area. And Link, the Prowler goes in to check. They start to swing out. Xvero fires off the shot. 2GE now chiming in. But Global Esports still managing to hold. Lightning Fast trying to lurk and peek out. Oh, there's a bit of a check from Xvero, but he gets burned by the Nanoswarm. 2G finds his own up against Benkai as well, and that's going to be the round for RRQ.
Yeah, flips, not really even going deep into the fight, just tying someone up at B main, keeping them, you know, tied to that revolving door. That was huge. That allows the rest of the team to really focus on just peeking one at a time, bouncing that aggro back and forth to make sure they can clear each corner of that B site. Overall, that also ruined Lightning Fast's options of do I go for a deeper lurk or not, because he had to refill the site immediately, and they're ready for it. They're aware of that possibility.
Very strong fundamentals. I mean, that's what the desk was talking about. That's what we're all talking about. RRQ, they've always been building up on this. They've always been working on this. We don't want to go too crazy, but as long as we have clean protocols and how we want to retake, you know, peeking off of one another, checking to make sure that there's no sneaky lurk coming out from Lightning Fast, they'll be able to do much better. 3-7 right now. If they can make it a 5-7, that would not be too bad.
Oh, they know. They saw the door was broken. They're ready for this. Xvero, if you repeat this, it's going to spell a little bit of danger, in my opinion. But the timing!
Just a little bit of movement and accuracy comes back in for the repeat, but Blaze King is ready. At the same time, look at Benkai, Will.
Yeah, RQ has a read on this, though, right? They realize, okay, it's a slow creep up. Now that Baby Door's already broken, a high chance of that pinch on to B. So Jemkin's just going to hold on to this. You can tell RQ, they've already ditched C-side. If it goes there, it's going to be a retake.
Oh, just going to have to be very careful, though. Don't want to lose your hit too early. Setting up for that retake now. Paint shells, trying to hold them back. The team trying to push back up front. But at the same time, Blaze King on this big lurk. Very, very troublesome. RRQ trying to be aware of every little trap, every little trick in Global Esports' book. Oh, yeah. Now he's been spotted.
Now he's been spotted, but now you recognize that there's two people you can't get out.
The rest of the team has arrived, though, so a bit of a trade from Lightning Fast. Now Elmi Moore trying to hold the off angle. He's managing to get the spray down! A bit of a double! Lightning Fast fights back with a classic. Back to a 2-on-2, but 10 seconds remaining. They've got to go in fast. Spike now getting planted. Jemkin right up on top. Spots the angles, catches Lightning Fast on the swing. Benkai has to do it all.
It's a 2v1. You just go for the simple double peek. Jemkin gets the last kill. And you know what? RQ looks like they want to stabilize in this first half. A 5-7 scoreline, not bad at all on that defensive side.
That's a great way to kick things off. 2G retrieving the operator as well for Xvero. Jemkin now 1 point away from the showstopper. I mean, RRQ being very aware of it, and just some good shots coming out from Elmi Moore.
Yeah, honestly, he was actually, I think, going for the spray down against Lightning Fast, and he saw the Omen close, but does get, you know, the stabilization on that spray, gets the spray control, gets the long-range headshot through the box, and they're still able to keep that operator. Still no armor on Xvero, but you know what? He's living life on the edge. He says one shot is all it takes.
By all means, though, I mean, Global Esports had the right ideas again. They were very aware of his positioning. So coming back into it, just needing to try to perhaps play around the map a little. We're just investing the showstopper really early on, though.
Yeah, a bit of a miss on that blast pack, slows it down, and there's from the shadows back up as well. I mean, this site is all flooded, and it's defended by Elmimore and crew.
They're just watching everything. Now swinging up against Benkai, who is completely overwhelmed. The showstopper as well. RRQ claims their 5th win. It is a 5-7 first half.
So RRQ, they don't challenge Rubble much at all in that last round of the half. Then they go for the double push out of C, but they can do that because the Omen still has from the shadows. So then originally they're thinking, okay, if we get no contact, we plant the operator far forward, and then from the shadows is still available. But you hear the showstopper, immediately you launch it, and then Povey not able to get the second blast pack right away really slows things down. Everyone on the side of RRQ, their crosshairs just have to be trained forward, and they're able to get to a scoreline that they don't mind after that rough 5-1 scoreline start.
Very, very much favorable. As RRQ now swaps on over to the attack, where they perhaps might be able to dictate the pace a little bit better. So what I would want to see from Global Esports is some more active moments on their defensive side, because what we've seen so far, RRQ just very much so reacting to it, but then towards the end, they started to get some good reads onto how Global Esports moves.
For sure. I would love to see Global Esports get just as proactive, if not more, on this defensive side as well. Xfero's oftentimes left on an island for that lurk, for that information in between B and A main. So if you're able to target him, if you're able to take him out fast, or at least push him out of his comfort zone, that's going to be good news. But let's say, you know, an operator comes out, an outlaw comes out, something like that. We've seen Xfero's shots. He could be racking up the frags on the scoreboard real quick.
So still both teams needing to find these rounds, and it all starts once again with the pistol.
Oh, okay. So Toxic screen for B and C. Just ditching Rubble control entirely. You're just looking to fight this from the get-go. You want to flood it, you want to fill it, and just hold on to it. That's the plan from Global Esports.
You got the C's, you got the paint shells. Why not? Russ tossing in for info. Instantly spotted out, though, so now they're going to have to be very cautious. But look at the movements. Actually, RRQ coming in to take down Pillar.
It's going to be that quick clear. Doesn't get tagged, so they might think that this is empty, but surely they're just vying for information on the util.
Right, triple peek?
But flips. He hears the footsteps. He's looking for one.
Oh, no!
He gets distracted by too much noise, and now you know that there's multiple people. You have to go see, but there's, I mean, everything's set up here. Killjoy and Viper.
Really quick. Benkai, very aware of this, just backs up completely. They know they have the numbers advantage, so trying to set up for the retake perhaps instead. Dark cover just to block out the exits, waiting for the spike plant.
They're waiting for that lurk as well. They know that the only thing that RQ can do is go for that lurk.
How long can they wait for, Will? Benkai's watching the exits. He picks up a quick double. 2GE now tries to take him down. Russ goes back in for the trade. Xfero now. The lurk taking a little bit far too long. The whole trio of Global Esports peeks out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough spot for RQ, right? You try to rush into C, you realize everything's set up there, and you know, okay, backup's probably a ride, we got to go for the lurk. But since you know you can't wait, you're trying to push even deeper, trying to pinch them into Waterfall. Overall, I mean, listen, you're making do with what you got, but they just don't clear this corner fast enough, and Benkai's able to get a crucial double kill. Nice. And after that, it's like, oh yeah, remember we were still waiting for Xfero? That lurk comes in just in time.
Fantastic, and this is a Global Esports that has now won both pistols on this map.
Nature is healing.
Tremendous improvement, exactly.
GE's winning pistols again, DRX is back on top. I mean, APAC is healing, Pacific is healing.
All it took was just a bit of time off, I suppose, from kickoffs.
All it took was Benji Fishy yelling at Monyet, and then everything corrected itself, okay?
And also just a lot of talking to coaches and paper thin inside of lifts. But anyway, Poison Cloud back up on top now, and Global Esports firing some blank shots, able to take down 2G.
Snake bites being drawn out. Still one in the chamber though.
It's just tough. RQ just wanting to continue to dive through this, but even Timmy the turret gets a little kill.
Yeah. I mean, it's an eco. You knew that you had already kind of hedged your bets here after you saw that first snake bite come in, so they're just trying to use the turret as a shield to cross in, cause some chaos since you didn't see the early stack on Killjoy utility. Well, you'll have to let that round go. Now with the half armors, what can they do? Thankfully, no outlaw on the other side of Global Esports. Haven't seen that come out just yet on this map.
Not quite. They do have a Guardian, though. The main thing so far is just the fact that Global Esports have been making these rounds pretty darn flawless. RQ without any clear plans as to how they might be able to take advantage of the little rounds they get. There's a pretty big round deficit right now.
Yeah, look at the setup from Global Esports on the C side, right? If you are to go in there without the paint shells, I mean, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, and also you're going to be wasting a lot of time.
Oh,
big clear.
Actually going through the door. Benkai tries to peek out, but has to be careful. He does not have the range with the Spectre.
Okay, so you just got a kill onto B. You've told them that you're trying to pressure the middle of the map. I would love to see RQ try to get a reaction out of the A side as well. Just something else to see what the reactionary movement was from Global Esports.
Blitz is trying to watch for that angle. Baited out a bit of a smoke from Lightning Fast.
Yeah, but I love that they push into this because you know that Omen was far out, right? He wasn't by Rubble. He was already on his way back and out. So you got to imagine that this one way is just to buy time. It's a good clear with the Prowler as well.
What RQ has to watch out for now, though, is also the little door.
Yeah, it's a setup here. It could be a trap setup for Blaze King, and they don't like what they're sniffing. They're just drawing attention. They know what they've done to Global Esports. They know they put the pressure down. But really, yeah, the nanoswarms, that's my big concern.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, you have your paint shells. RQ, they generally have thrown it far in whenever they've needed to. But it goes a little too far deep. He lands right onto the first set. 15 seconds left.
That's going to take a little bit off the clock. Benkai trying to stall as long as he possibly can, but unfortunately not quite enough.
Big kill from 2GE. As soon as you hear that turret, ready for it, doesn't want to stop the plan.
Great TP up on top. Couple of wallbangs trying to go through, but unfortunately...
Oh, what? He hit the earlier
he just
one.
Slices aim all to the left.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know he hit the first one, but he did, and he lands the second as well. That's the Guardian for you.
That's how he checks. Okay. RQ, though, still relatively healthy. They've got 4 guns in this fight. Dark cover sets up, and 2G stays completely shrouded and hide back. Blaze King continuing to try to fire through, but unfortunately the timer is ticking and he's running out of time. It's gonna be RQ walking away. Pros don't look at the explosions. We've got this round.
Yeah, everyone gets out safely as well, like you said. Blaze King just gonna die to the spike without too much weaponry in his hand. Going to get that third round of the second half, their first buy round, and not too much damage in terms of weaponry. Obviously, everyone losing their armor, etc. It's still going to be some creds that they'll have to reinvest.
10 seconds.
But that's it. I mean, this is a really tricky round that I think, like you mentioned at the start of this matchup, right? RQ taking quite a bit of time just to clear out everything sometimes, and it comes down to the last 30 seconds. We were very worried that those nanoswarms might not allow them to get the spike down.
Yeah, I mean, the paint shell's clearing at least the deeper one. That was a deal breaker, in my opinion. And now seeing if there's an adjustment from GE. See if there's a trap set up on C. They're going for the fast push, and look at the map. Xpharaoh and Flips are waiting for the counter push out. If GE has been studying the tape, surely a stack push comes out, and Flips is ready for it. As long as he lives,
wow.
RQ, their plan is working. I think he's been heard, though, in B main as well by Pillars.
Not too bad. So even though he has made his position known.
So here's the unfortunate part, right? If during that chaos, RQ was able to actually check for the forward alarm bot, this would be the perfect round setup for them. But since they haven't quite cleared that, Global Esports is able to reset their default. You can see on the mini-map, you see Russ rejoining towards the A side. They still haven't pushed the alarm bot. They're nowhere near C right now.
RQ, oh, they're just going in for a bit of a gamble now into the A site because of that fact, Will. Still, though, winning out in some of these firefights
but B is clear.
30 seconds
Lightning Fast doesn't have the paranoia any longer. So B is clear. They will be able to transition over, get the spike down. Xpharaoh with the timing will be able to catch a lot of these players. Benkai, the first to fall. Next is going to be Russ.
I mean, big round from RQ. Sure, they don't, spam the box or anything like that, but they're wary of it enough to make sure that a trade happens. And off of that kill, during all of that, they still leave their options open. Whenever you watch Lotus, the teams that are able to get enough of the rounds in attack are always going to be the ones that always leave one more chance open, right? It's, can you make one more rotation? You know, if we're going to A in the last 40 seconds, do we have B cleared when it comes to the 20-second mark? Things like that. Or do you have the C revolving door cleared by the 20-second mark? GE was doing a decent amount of that as well in the first half, but RQ answering back right in form.
That's another thing. GE sometimes getting the right calls, right ideas, right reads. This time, just marking out some of these spots. Benkai will be able to start things off with a Marshall shot. Now smoked off though. Gonna have to run back around. His team arriving.
Covering the spike.
From door.
Oh, jeez. I mean, no one was covering, but Elmimore, he'll cover himself.
Spike planted.
They have all rifles and they feeling pretty okay. At the same time, you got Xfair on a bit of alert just in case someone does decide to pull a sneaky rotate through the doors. This time it's not quite happening just yet. Jemkin marking stairs. A bit of a skewer for 2 headshots, and RQ looking to tie things up.
And that's huge. That's a huge double kill because that catches Jemkin right up on the ult cycle as well. So Lockdown and Showstopper both 2 points away, which makes that Nightfall investment against the opponent's weak round quite worth it. I mean, just fast reactions from Elmimore. Seems like RQ also perhaps needing a little bit of that warm-up coming in. Now firing back, and that's going to draw out that timeout from GE. They've been feeling okay so far. I like this timing. They still have the lead, but now you're starting to see that RQ has the entire initiative, right? They go for a very slow round previously. They go for the final rotates, and then now they just go for that rush with the Nightfall all the way through A, regardless of weaponry on the other side.
And this is what I mean by, you know, RQ gets to dictate pace on this attacking side of the map.
We'll see what the adjustment is here from GE. Now, if you're RQ, I think you maybe check for a trap play on C again, right? Is it a fast push out of C, or could it be the trap from the revolving door with the paranoia? That's something that we still haven't seen, trap play or push out from C. Neither has really happened from GE. So if you're imagining a big change, that's something that RQ has to be ready for.
There.
Not quite sure if it's going to be a trap play exactly just yet. It's
the op.
It's the op on Polvi.
Yeah, it's not. They're not going to send the showstopper, but I think RQ probably waiting for the showstopper. Yeah, looking at their positions, they're waiting for a crossfire. They're not going to quite see it just yet.
Oh, and Blaze King with the Odin as well.
Where are
Trying to play off of a little bit of time. RQ at the very least pretty darn aware of it, tossing out the haunt just to check.
And this fast push into rubble, this is important for RQ because you're wondering, why are you trying to deny us so much rubble control with the Odin, right? Why this round? Why when we see that someone clears the on right away and he just lands it on Flips? Flips
Just walked into...
I think Flips heard the reload, so he thought he had time to creep all the way around, but Blaze King just fires right back.
At that exact spot. Very unlucky timing.
Yeah,
just
the fake on the reload again. Finishes it off, 100 rounds still to go.
It's the last belt as well, so now he's going to be a little bit more careful of it. Oh, makes use of Russ's haunt. Goes in for the clear wallbang shot. The pink missed. It's going to be down to Xfaro, 5 HP. His team's completely gone.
And so is Xfaro. I mean, a clean round. I mean, this all falls apart when Flips dies, right? And you can't blame him, but you can absolutely give credit to Blaze King. Whenever you see, listen, people say that the Odins get lucky, but the real Odin users, they really play with your mind, right? They make you think that they're done spamming.
Exactly.
They make you think that you're only spamming one angle.
And then they swap to another angle.
Yeah, they keep it going. They have their own system, man.
It's a play of positioning is what it is. And I think, you know, it's not just the Odin as well.
Oh, a little Odin ceremony. We haven't seen that. Okay, I like it.
It's also the fact that, you know, there was that threat of the showstopper. There was a little bit of movement, the smoke out from Lightning Fast, a bit of pressure just to funnel RQ into that A site. So game plan starting to work out a little bit for GE.
GE, do they read this? They do. They recognize that the smoke's a little too deep on B, and they think that it might be a trap onto C mount. It's a good reaction, and the Polvi's good.
Great opener, the Dragon Roars. RQ's gonna have to recalibrate their strategies. Elmore continuing to go in by himself, though, and he's got the spike. I'm a little bit nervous, Will. All right, now he's aware.
Well, all right. Spike given over. No one quite in range to hear that drop just yet. But Elmore.
Oh, the
His barrel shows and he has no idea. Oh,
slight whiff with the flick, but not too bad. But because of all of this, Elmore calls that the side is clear. Spike goes down.
And the lockdown at the ready as well. Now Showstopper on the other side, so RQ, they have to still stop this way early. Whoa! Oh my gosh, right as the paranoia hits. It's a good reaction.
Goes back in for a little bit more, just a little bit of greed, and it's not too good. Showstopper comes out from Polvi, and
shut down after the alarm bot from 2GE.
So quick.
Perched up on top of that box once again, so Blaze King, he's wary of it. They're trying to clear him out, but they're all hiding right around that smoke and the pillar.
He's got to be very careful with his movements. Does it not have the mobility with that Odin? Swaps over onto the Vandal now, so being able to push in along with the squad, but he doesn't even need it. Russ tries to stick the defuse. The timer is still ticking away, and Flitz is trying to play along with the time. The snake bite lands. So even though Blaze King drops, Global Esports, it's going to be RQ with the clutch round.
Man, I'm actually surprised. I want to give a lot of credit to Global Esports there because by popping the Nano Swarm early while the smoke was still up, RQ was trying to fake out that they were all outside on Mound, right? It's a Mound plant. Hey, we've already left it empty after we got that kill on the Showstopper. Don't worry about the site. It was kind of a trap play setup, and Blaze King still checks for it. After he gets the first gun to 2G, they're still wary of Xpharaoh. I mean, really, really heads up. But at the end of the day, the post-plant utility, I mean, the timing, the lockdown had been used as well. So RQ able to catch up one round again.
And what a crucial kill from 2GE as well. I mean, this guy just gets subbed in, does not miss a beat.
We heard Coach Ewok talk about it during the timeout episode. You know, 2GE's always there, you know, waiting for the chance. He knows how hard it can be to be that sixth man.
And he always stays ready as well. So very, very comfortable adjustments from RRQ. They are still keeping this match relatively competitive. Benkai now this time the one with the Odin. The Nightfall getting sent out. Still catching RRQ. They have not been able to make it past the A site.
Oh, this had to have been a minimap read though as well, right? From that Nightfall. Somehow is able to get the absolute shots through.
I think there was a ping on the map for him as well. So now back into the same spot. Paranoia just to flush him back. Hops over just in time. Blaze King holding Baby Door at the ready. So many angles being marked and covered by Global Esports. I don't know how RQ can make it through this.
I mean, they have to purely do it through frags, right? And it can only be B-site, and Global Esports is fairly aware of this because of the control they have across the entire map. I mean, look at Polvi's position. He hasn't moved an inch. Mound is absolutely shut off. A tree is absolutely shut off. You know that they're still trapped in between B and A.
This is truly just the domain expansion of Global Esports right now. They are trapping them inside their realm. RRQ do not have any routes. Slowly finding back in that lead. And this is all after Coach Spin's timeout in round 18 as well.
Yeah, it's just a cold hard save, right? Doesn't matter about the creds or not. The chances just too far against us. RQ making the choice to give 11 to GE. Now, yes, again, it looked very unlikely to pick up that round after the first two kills.
One down.
But they're going to have to figure out something else here. This Odin,
Okay,
they've got to find, they've got to find an answer for this Odin. Because creeping in, yeah, I mean, it can work. Sure, you could consider and say, I misread the timing. But the thing is if you're going to creep in, either, just holding rubble or making sure that there's some other utility to draw it out, maybe opening the door first to make sure that he has to shoot the switch, something like that. And then just checking that also check, is the Odin still there?
Creeping in does feel a little bit too risky for my liking right now, Will.
I mean, what else are you going to do, though, right? I mean,
the utility.
Into tree? You can't clear that with the Odin spamming the entire time. If you have to get up to the switch first, and if they're going to be constantly checking, you got to do something else. You got to do something else. I mean, yeah, if you get to the switch, sure, I'm all for it, right? Send the Prowler and things like that. But if they're expending utility first to get into rubble, right? It's just this chicken and the egg question, a catch-22, so to speak, for RRQ. And sometimes contact is the answer. But right now, it's going to be a heavier push. They want to basically draw out a little bit of attention elsewhere to see if they can then pressure onto A site.
We'll see if it is possible, but for now, it's really, really tough. We've got Polvi, Russ, lightning fast back in for C Mount. Sets up the turret, but it instantly gets dismissed. They definitely hear that Odin as well.
So you're hearing the Odin. It's just a fast hit.
Wow.
Oh, and
straight
Jemkin
into
gets
B.
Oh, that's a huge kill.
Jemkin with a big dive.
Elmimore as well. I mean, they're ready for this door opening as well. And this shuts down a lot of the options that GE had.
Unbelievable. Great adjustments coming in from RQ right now, and they already have the site. Nightfall even invested just to further hold Global Esports back. Benkai now slowly rethinking his options. Do I really want to approach Heaven?
No, I think you save if you're GE, right? Because here's the thing. I mean, the chances right now, no matter how easy B site is to retake, with the Op and the Odin as well, and the positions you've already given over with the Nightfall, the chances are too slim. And you don't want to potentially give, let's say, Xfer a triple kill, let him maybe get close back to his lockdown, anything like that before the half ends. So while you have the lead, you got kind of a gimme in that previous round after the initial kills. You give one back to RIQ, you reset.
The question is, how will Global Esports come back into this next round now? B showing some slightly weaker spots. For the longest time now, Blaze King has set up his toxic screen from B to A, sometimes B to C. Is he going to have some more reinforcements on the side this time?
We'll have to see as Jemkin, I mean, that was a sick shot.
Yes.
So was Elmimore's as well, but flying in and getting that pick onto Heaven, definitely a bit of a prediction.
I guess just leaving Russ in for B and then maybe setting up for a bit of a retake?
I mean, I thought, maybe it was going to be a heavier stack onto B and C, go for a full retake onto A, but this time it's forward positioning on the Killjoy util. And this is a lot of setup for Blaze King, right? You're thinking, okay, Odin's here again, no biggie. The door is open.
This is a spot that Elmimore is very comfortable with, so he flushes him out. The Prowler, the shot from Polvi and Russ to fire back, though.
It's multi-layered. It's not just one guy, GE. They don't play simple Valorant.
Ooh. Sidestep with the Prowler out, now swing.
Huge movement.
Oh, Xpharaoh can't quite catch up. Down to the last two.
Oh, and you saw one as well on C-Mount.
Very potentially map point for Global Esports now. 2GE wanting to take matters into his own hands, but dropping the Polvi. It's all down to the IGL flips.
Yeah, and while you have the pit, you've got that lockdown, you've got an Odin on the other side. It's a tough choice to make. But at the end of the day, I mean, do you really want to give up that map point?
Got no choice.
I mean, I'm not going to blame him if he sends it, right? It looks nigh impossible either way.
30 seconds
but if
left.
you have some mind games with it.
Poison's off.
Best thing that you can do, right? I mean, plant the spike, maybe play around tree, but then you gotta be prepared for this entire squad. I don't think you want to invest in my first bit yet, but maybe now.
Yeah, lockdown's gone, Odin's gone. Sure, Odin gets picked up, but no lockdown.
Welcome to my world. Benkai's. No, it's Polvi who's firing off. No, he walks into it. He walks into it.
I mean, this is just well played by GE, right? So he thinks the Odin spamming this angle, I can do a quick shoulder peek. I like the idea because what you're thinking is with the Odin spamming, the other guy's probably going to try to hold the defuse. So Flips, that's his process of elimination, but GE's one step ahead. They say, I'll spam it, you creep in because he can't hold this close angle if I'm spamming.
Exactly one of those like damned if you do, damned if you don't moments. It's just, I can feel the frustrations from Flip's side now. So unfortunately, even with all his best efforts, the Viper's Pit, the incredible shot up to Heaven, it's going to be map point for Global Esports.
Yeah, look at the way he was holding that too. I think Flips kind of misread that angle. I thought he thought maybe he was shooting straight into the into tree, but Polvi was already holding it at an angle, cutting that corner. So all in all, well played by GE. A little bit of panic from Flips as well.
Good effort though, but nonetheless, this is now an opportunity for Global Esports to steal this map win away. This was RRQ's map pick. They don't do well on this. We're going next to Global Esports' comfort pick on Icebox.
Yeah, we can talk about Icebox when we get there, but compositionally, I think you have to favor GE just a slight bit. So we'll see if RQ can take this to OT. They've never held the lead in this map.
Full set play into C. Just sending it down. Lightning Fast able to do a bit of damage. Elmi more trades right back.
Jemkin's
already inside. Bit of Shrouded Step from 2GE, but he's done it one too many times. Russ is aware. Jemkin trying to get the timing on the swing, waiting for his teammates to arrive at the same time, but Blaze King now sets up the Viper's Pit. He can no longer push up front. Russ peeks out at the right time as Jenkins tries to fall back. That's going to be the third kill for Russ. Elmi more now. The Bren against the world, and he's going to have to fight his way out of this entire squad.
I mean, you got 5 seconds to kill all these guys.
It's the crouch. Russ with the quad kill to close out the map.